Assalamu alaikum, my name is Halimah and welcome to Quran Rehab. I'm super excited to introduce you to Quran Rehab's first video series entitled Seasons of the Heart. Let's kick off the series with a question. What do the following 4 inspirational individuals have in common within the following 4 Quranic verses? Verse 1. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله. Verse 2. وأصبح فؤاد أمي موسى فارغا. Verse 3. قال رب إني قتلت منهم نفسا فأخاف أن يقتلون. Verse 4. فأجاءها المخاض إلى جذع النخلة قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا وكنت نسيا منسيا. Did you guess? Let me give you a clue. In the first verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Yaqub alayhi salam's feeling of sadness and grief. In the second verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how the mother of Musa felt an aching void in her heart. In the third verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Musa's experience of fear. And in the fourth verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us how Maryam alayhi salam experienced pain and anguish. That's right, the topic is emotions. Now in these four Quranic verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 4 inspirational role models who perfected their faith yet experienced intense raw emotions. So why, despite ample examples like these in the Quran, do we continue and insist on adopting and sharing beliefs such as feelings of fear or anticipation being a sign of a lack of tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or that feeling disappointed or disheartened is a sign of displeasure with the will of Allah? Why do we keep telling each other that feeling sad is a sign of low iman, or that yearning for more is simply ingratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what we already have? Why do we always judge our feelings of anger as being nothing more than a sign of bad character? Why do we even tell ourselves that feeling happy and elated are a sign of attachment and distraction of the dunya? People, it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to sometimes feel sad and weepy. It's okay to sometimes feel angry or disheartened. It's okay to feel excited and curious. The thing is, with these emotions, they don't necessarily mean what we have come to make ourselves believe they do. It's really important that we address the discrepancies between what the Quran teaches us about emotions versus what we just think. And that's specifically very important for 3 reasons. Number 1, emotions relate to us all. Regardless of our gender, our age, our race, our nationality, it's something that we experience throughout our lives, even on a day-to-day basis. Number 2 is simply because our beliefs that we hold, whether they're right or wrong, and even those in relation to our emotions, significantly affect the way that we think, the thoughts we have, the actions that we take, the behavior we display, and can really affect our quality of life. Specifically with regards to our emotions in the light of Islam, it can really affect the way that we see ourselves and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and can affect our relationship with Him. And the third reason is because although we're all aware that the role of this dunya is to test us, how many of us really reflect on the nature of our tests? Which, despite coming in an array of different packages, fundamentally at heart, all test our emotions. Now when we look into the Quran, we see this really clearly. We see that Adam alayhi salam's removal from Jannah tested him in feelings of guilt. We see that Musa alayhi salam's stance against Fir'aun tested him in feelings of fear. We see that Yaqub alayhi salam's separation from Yusuf tested him in emptiness of heart. We see that Yunus alayhi salam's dealings with his people tested him in feelings of anger. We see that Ibrahim alayhi salam's continuous years of travel tested him in feelings of loneliness. We see that Yusuf alayhi salam's continuous betrayal by those around him tested him in feelings of hurt. These are just a few examples from the Quran. So when we reflect, we see that the real difficulty of our tests are on the effects that they have on our emotions. So let me give you a quick example. Let's say that somebody loses their job and now they're worrying about how they're going to pay for next month's rent and food bills. Is the real difficulty in that test the fact that they might have to move to smaller accommodation, or that they might have to cross off a few luxury items on their shopping list? No, the real difficulty felt here will be in feelings of fear as to where they're going to get their money, or in feelings of personal blame and failure for not better managing their finances or getting alternative qualifications. The test might be felt in their feelings of anger at their boss's unfair dismissal, or a lack of support from their family thereafter, for example. So if the real challenge in our tests are on the effects they have on our emotions, then the meaningful results, the success or failure of those tests must be significantly influenced by our management of those emotions. Now, the subject of emotions in the light of the Quran is something that's rarely spoken about, so there lies many unanswered questions. But how better to answer those questions and discover more than to converse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the subject. He who created us and knows us better than we know ourselves. So I'm very excited to invite you on a journey with me through the realm of the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites us to witness His unraveling of some beautiful and practical gems on the subject of emotions and emotional management. My name is Halimah. You've been checked into Quran Rehab. So until next time, take care.